I'm 78 years old. I woke up this morning with my hands aching, and the house so quiet I could hear the refrigerator clicking on and off, like it was the only thing still doing its job. I've been thinking a lot about time lately. Not in a poetic way, more like inventory. What's left? What's already gone? What I carried too long because it seemed like the right thing to do at the time. I spent most of my life being called strong, reliable, capable. The one who handled things, and I did. I handled everything. I just didn't handle myself. When people look at me now, they see a woman who raised children, kept a marriage together longer than most, worked for decades, showed up, didn't complain much. They see success of a certain kind, respectable, solid. What they don't see is how much of my life happened quietly on the sidelines of other people's needs. I didn't notice it at first. You never do. It doesn't feel like sacrifice when you're young. It feels like responsibility. In my 20s, I believed that being needed was the same thing as being loved. I grew up in a house where praise was scarce and approval had to be earned. So when people leaned on me, when they said, "I don't know what I'd do without you," something in me stood a little taller. I married a man who was charming in public and uncertain in private. He wasn't cruel. That would have been easier to name. He just deferred. Decisions, emotions, direction. Somehow, they all landed in my lap. I told myself that's what partnership was. Someone had to be steady. Someone had to carry the weight. I was good at carrying weight. Children came, bills, schedules, aging parents, the usual life things. Every choice I made seemed reasonable, sensible. If I put myself last, it was only temporary. That's what I believed, just for now, just until things settle, just until they don't need me so much. But just for now is a dangerous phrase. It stretches, quietly. Years pass inside it. I had small wants back then, nothing dramatic. I didn't dream of fame or escape. I wanted time alone. I wanted to finish things I started. I wanted conversations where I wasn't managing everyone else's feelings. I wanted to rest without earning it. Those wants felt selfish, so I tucked them away. I told myself they'd still be there later. In my 30s and 40s, life sped up. Everyone needed something. The children needed rides, help with homework, reassurance. My husband needed encouragement, direction, forgiveness for things he never quite said out loud. At work, I became indispensable. The one who stayed late, the one who fixed mistakes quietly, the one who didn't cause trouble. Being indispensable feels good, until you realize it means you can't leave. I remember standing at the kitchen sink one evening, staring out the window while washing dishes. The kids were arguing in the other room. My husband was tired, withdrawn. I was tired in a deeper way. I remember thinking very clearly, if I don't speak now, this will be my life. And then someone called my name, and I dried my hands and went back to being useful. That moment still bothers me. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. I saw the truth. I just didn't act on it. The cost didn't arrive all at once. It never does. It came in small erasures. Friendships I let fade because I didn't have the energy to maintain them. Hobbies I abandoned because they didn't serve anyone else. Opinions I softened so the room would stay calm. I became very good at smoothing things over. I also became very quiet inside. By the time the children were grown, I told myself it was my turn. I truly believed that. I remember saying it out loud once, half joking. Now I can finally think about what I want. But by then, I didn't know how. My marriage didn't end in a blow-up. It ended in a long silence. Two people living efficiently beside each other, grateful for the history but untouched by it. When he died, I cried. I miss him still, but I also felt something I was ashamed to admit. Relief. Not because he was bad, but because the role I had been playing for decades finally ended. Grief and freedom arrived together. I didn't know what to do with that. After 70, people stop asking much of you. At first, it feels like a gift. Fewer obligations, more quiet. But then you realize how much of your identity was built on being needed. The phone rings less, invitations slow down. You're still alive, but the world has shifted its weight elsewhere. That's when the questions come. Not all at once. Late at night. Early morning. In the spaces where noise used to be. Who was I, really, when no one was asking anything of me? What did I choose because I wanted it, not because it was expected? I tried to remember myself before the roles. Before mother, wife, employee, helper. The memory was faint, like a photograph left too long in the sun. I don't say this with bitterness. I loved my children. I'm proud of them. I did meaningful work. I was dependable. That matters. But it's possible to do everything right and still lose something essential. The turning point came quietly. No hospital drama, no speeches, just a moment of clarity that arrived too late to change much. I was sorting through old boxes one afternoon. Papers, photographs, things I'd saved without knowing why. I found a notebook from my early 30s. I'd forgotten it existed. Inside were pages of writing, thoughts, questions, plans. Not grand ones, honest ones. Things I wanted to learn. Ways I hoped to live. I didn't recognize the woman who wrote them. She sounded braver than me, more awake. I sat on the floor and cried. Not loudly, just steadily. Because I realized that woman had trusted me to carry her forward, and I didn't. That's a hard thing to forgive yourself for. At 78, there are limits. Energy fades, the body negotiates, time feels heavier. You can still grow, yes, but you can't rebuild everything. Some doors only open once. I can't go back and choose differently at 25 or 40. I can't reclaim the years I spent waiting for permission that was never coming. What's gone is gone. I've learned that regret isn't always about mistakes. Sometimes it's about delays. The life you keep postponing because everyone else's needs feel more urgent. No one ever told me to disappear. I did that myself, one reasonable decision at a time. If I'm speaking directly to you now, it's not to warn or instruct. I don't believe in lectures from the end of the road. Everyone's life is complicated. I know that. I just want you to notice the moments when you go quiet inside. The times you say later, without checking what it's costing you. Being strong doesn't mean carrying everything. Being generous doesn't mean being absent from your own life. If something in you keeps tapping on the inside, don't ignore it for decades like I did. It doesn't stop knocking, it just grows tired. I'm not angry anymore. That took time. I've made peace with the shape of my life. There was love in it, there was value, there was effort. I sit by the window most afternoons now. I read, I think, I speak my mind more than I used to. There's a quiet strength that comes with age, but it's different from the strength I carried before. This one isn't about endurance. It's about honesty. If this meant something to you, if it sounded familiar in an uncomfortable way, I hope you listen to that feeling. Not with panic, just with respect. I don't have much time left. I feel that clearly, and that's all right. I've stopped bargaining with it. I only wish I had stopped bargaining with myself sooner. That's all I wanted to say. If this story felt familiar, if it touched something quiet inside you, you're not alone. If you'd like to hear more reflections like this, you can like the video and subscribe. I'll be here.